G'day everybody, welcome to this week's Friday Size. I hope everybody has had a really good week, and yeah, the sun is shining again, and yeah, there's some pretty good exciting happiness going on in the garden. I would like to make tea, some more shots, so I have something called the Birder Young here, and I've made these shots before and kind of went with View C, and they have elastic waist, and yeah, obviously it's just easier to put those buckets on instead of the kind of more lower boxy buckets, and he uses those ones much more frequently than he would these ones. Obviously with them being lower down, I guess you would put things in that you would not necessarily take out as often as if you would with the higher pockets, and plus obviously putting hands in, it's just natural, isn't it, when you put higher pockets. Then of course I went down a rabbit hole, didn't I, with all my patterns, and I was kind of getting a few out. This is a more recent one that came free in a sewing magazine. That one, this one I got given very kindly by Claire. Thank you again, Claire, which is Sewing Bear. Does not have a YouTube channel, obviously on Instagram. And obviously the Sew Different patterns, really like that. And then these two, because obviously I was thinking of wanting to make up some vintage patterns, and although these are not vintage per se, in the sense of originality, they're obviously based on the vintage. Then I have some in here, and this is nothing compared with what I have all clean, tidy, neatly put away and stored. These are just in this bin here because these are ones that I wanted to kind of make up in a more sort of recent time frame, hence why they are separate, and then obviously they would go back in their place. I'll just pull a couple out for you. So starting us with a very old pattern there, Blackmore, that one, and then the second one there is a style economy design is the third one. Really like the star lines on that one, coming into a little bit more modern even though it's still vintage. Some more style ones, 70s vibe there. Really like that skirt there, and kind of a 50s look going on with these two patterns, and then coming back kind of to the 70s again there, and then we have kind of a little bit of a modern take on the simplicity there, and then a older pattern again there from Woman. There's just something really wonderful about vintage patterns, and they're just incredible, just everything about them. I know a lot of people, it's kind of like the Marmite Vegemite thing, you either like it or you hate it, and for me, I just really like it. I really like the artwork. Sometimes it is, although their kind of instruction can sometimes be a little bit sparse, however sometimes by having that you're not kind of bombarded too much with too much information, if that makes sense. However, that kind of counterintuitive itself when sometimes if you're semi-new, especially to vintage patterns, if they do miss out something, it's because they've assumed that you know, and then that can be a little bit frustrating. Anyhow, I was just looking through my vintage patterns, and obviously I was thinking of Samantha, and I'll link Samantha's wonderful channel below, and she shows the most beautiful creations out of stunning fabrics, and she has the most adorable dogs. Oh my goodness, sheepdogs, and absolutely incredible. Really enjoy talking to Samantha. Obviously she's on Instagram as well with the same name, but yeah, I look at these and you kind of think of people who obviously make so vintage patterns from originals, or maybe more of the modern ones with the take that they have from originals. Obviously you have Hayley from Hayley Marie Vintage, and oh, there's so many. If I spend time naming them, I'll miss out somebody and then I'll feel really whole bunch bad. But yeah, there's just some of my patterns here. Also pulled out a few of my folkwear pittons, and yeah, I need to sew some of these up, and really like these. And yeah, let me know if you have sewn any. The one that I put aside to stitch first is this one, the Afghan dress. Now I know it may not look like much on the cover, however I have seen this made up. It takes a whole bunch of fabric and also some contrast fabrics as well to kind of give it a little bit of definition and everything like that. There's just something about this pattern. In fact, obviously there's something about all these patterns, otherwise I would not purchase them. I just wanted to talk about the Macaw's M7354, and I really like this, and it resonates a little bit based on the walkaway dress. And obviously this front cover image is really pretty, do not get me wrong, however it kind of a little bit reminds me of like a housekeeper, a cleaning lady, just kind of that style. I think it's because of the size maybe of the pockets and the bias tape that they use there. However, I am going to give this pitting a go, and the reverse is like this. So the back has a crossover there, which I think is really good, and I really like the tib details there. I may use contrast fabric. It depends on if I kind of use a plain versus a print fabric, because obviously if you have too much print going on, it's going to be clashing. But yeah, I would like to give this. But first up, I am going to do the Birder 7381 for TE and get him at least one pair of shorts made today, if not two. Go me. Righto, so I have cut everything out. So in this kind of fleece spec, kind of sweatshirting, I guess, knit fabric, I had to kind of improvise because there was more stretch one way than the other, and I did not want to have shorts that the stretch obviously went in the down ways for obvious reasons, and especially when you come to the pockets and everything, it would just look really terrible over time. So because of that, the way I had to fold the fabric, I actually have to now piece these parts. So obviously just stitch that to the shorts bottom, and it will just kind of be like a little design feature. So there's the other bits. The waistband as well, I had to cut into two pieces instead of cut on the fold, but hey ho, it really does not matter because obviously it will just match up at the seams, on the side seams. Obviously the space fabric, which if I open that up when it allows me, that has been cut out and as is, so there is no piecing, and obviously all the waistband is cut on the fold and everything like that. Elastic. The Birder Pitting suggests about using 3 types of elastic, and I have previously did that before. However, I thought I've got 2-inch elastic here, and I'm just going to use 1 because A, it will be so much quicker to install and thread through the channel, and obviously quicker in the sense because there's only 1 piece. However, I allowed just a little bit extra on both the waistbands for seam allowance compared to the actual pattern piece. So yeah, just extended a little bit because obviously I just needed to allow for that because obviously I'm using 2-inch wide elastic, and I did not want to risk just it being, for whatever reason, just a little bit too small, and then the seam allowance is a bit too small, and yeah, all the stitching in the world and reinforcing, it's great. However, over time and going through the laundry, it could stretch out. So play safe and quite simply just add another little bit, 1/4 inch to the seam allowance. Better to have more then less. Righto, so in my pretty little box here with a beautiful little peacock on, I have a little bit of magic. Ta-da! So, you know all these little hanging loops that you find on garments, they come in really good if you want to use them on stretch fabrics, and this is what I am doing on here. So on the fabric for TE's shorts, which is a puppy fabric and it's just simply called Space, on the curve here on the pockets I have pressed some iron-on interfacing. However, it's still not enough because it still has a little bit too much stretch for my liking. Now, just off camera, I have serged the edges and I caught in one of the hanging loops, and therefore there's no more stretch. It is really solid. So yeah, just a little tip there. Some of you guys may already know about that, and obviously because with pockets with your hand going in and out, and this will obviously be folded over and zigzagged, but it just gives that extra security, strength, and no stretching out. Two female chicks, and Papa has found the apple core. There we go. Oh, he's breaking bits off for them. Okay, so you know Renee and Arena, they got together and they have been really happy for a whole bunch of time, and they had been nest building, and Rena laid some eggs and they successfully hatched. She had 4, and yesterday they also all 4 successfully fledged. The last one did take a little bit of time. Rene is right above my head, he's just taking a bath. Okay, so a little bit of a disclaimer. If anybody thinks that I am thank you, Rene, interfering with Rene and Rena's nest, you could not be further from the truth. They are very happy and very comfortable around me, being close to their nest and obviously helping feeding them. And yes, I did manage to get some photos. And also please bear in mind that I have a zoom lens, so I can be enough away from their nest and zoom in comfortably without any disruption or disturbances. So I just needed to say that, just in case, you know, some people may think, and both Rene and Rena are more than happy to show me their little chicks. And Rene has known me almost 2 years, and Rena has known me since January this year, and they are really, really comfortable around me. And obviously I am of, you know, a calm, quiet nature, and I would not do anything, you know, to interfere or anything like that. And also when the 4 little chicks had fledged, obviously they're boinging about all over the place, and so it's much more easier to photograph them. However, I am still at a distance, and obviously a lot of the photos are zoomed in. However, the parents are just literally all over us, literally like chirping for a whole bunch of food. Both Renee and Rena have landed on our shoulders, our heads, chirping for food, as in seed form food. Also, Titi and I have been doing a lot of foraging for worms and bugs and everything like that, and so the parents have been extra excited, and the babies are obviously super sized. They're kind of radioactive, and yeah, it's really good to kind of help out a little bit, and hopefully, cross fingers, cross beaks, cross wings, that the little chicks are successful and manage to make it to adulthood. And as you can hear, there are a whole bunch of birds, especially little blackbirds as well, because they have the supersized chicks as well, and there is so much in the yard here that they can forage and feed and get all excited about. Oh my goodness, they have fledged. Oh wow, that is incredible. Oh look, they've got no tails. They're so cute. Oh look. And the wings. It's just so cute. Hello, darling. You're so pretty. Oh look, there's one little soggy chick. Isn't it always the way? Day they fledge and the day it rains, and yet we've had sun every single day. Righto, so I am out where I go sometimes, most of the time on Friday, and some of you guys may recognise the style pattern 1501 here. And yeah, I had made this for last year's dressmaker's ball. It was my peacock dress, and yeah, I'm kind of going to do most of the elements again, kind of this view, not the frills or anything like that, because no, that's so not me. And I have this fabric here, so I have this set in, and it was absolutely next to nothing price, and I picked it up from a thrift store. So right now just laying out the pattern pieces, and also I'm going to play around with this beautiful lace fabric here, and it has this really pretty like scalloping edge here, which I really like. And I may incorporate a little bit of a flatter sleeve, because I think that would look pretty, kind of just fluttering down the arm. And I really like all the detailing there on the lace. It's really pretty, and even if you just overlay it as well there, I think both work really good together. So right now all I am doing is just concentrating on the bodies, and just going to get the main fabric cut out in that. And this pattern was pre-cut, so yeah, I would obviously ideally trace, but because the person before obviously had cut it, then yeah, there's very little I could do. So yeah, that's where I am at right now. And also a cup of tea was made for me, and you can probably hear some of the ladies in the background. Okay, so myself and another lady here, we were having really serious brain ache, because obviously this is see-through fabric, and although the lining is solid, as you can see here, when you come to attach the skirt to this, obviously in an ideal world you would obviously put them right sides together, and the raw edge would then be hidden by the lining inside. However, because this is see-through, you would see the front of the top of the skirt raw edge. And we were doing kind of some brainstorming and thinking, do I then cut the top of the edge of the skirt to run in the same scalloping detailing there, because obviously if it's straight you would see it across there, because I want this to be exposed on the outside. Or I could run a red ribbon along the raw edge of the skirt. And yeah, so, and then also coming to this pattern piece, I cannot lay this pattern piece like that, because obviously cut on the diagonal, and that would obviously take away the scallop, so I have to lay it at a diagonal like that. And the wonderful lady has just bought me a cup of tea. I think I need something maybe a little bit stronger after all this kind of brainstorming together. And they have furniture in this store as well. And I'm just going to go over to, hopefully, a little bit of sewing. It's kind of a teeny tiny little bit. See what fabric they have, see if they have any notions. Alright guys, that is it for this week, and just before I go, I am wearing the Sew Over It Ivory, just to let you know, in this knit fabric with all these dinos. Okay everybody, have a wonderful week. Please remember the thumbs up and look forward to catching up with you in the comments below. Hope there's lots of crafting and sewing. Thank you. Why do I bother?